Hey there, everyone. Welcome back. Today, I want to share a few thoughts about the new moon in Pisces coming up on February 20th, and then maybe talk a little bit about some of the featured astrology happening in the 2 weeks after that new moon. So let's get the chart of the new moon in Pisces up on the screen. I'll do that in just a moment. I want to make sure you know to subscribe, like, comment if you're enjoying my videos. If you want more astrology from me, pop over to my website, kellysastrology.com. I have a full online astrology training program, as well as a monthly astrology membership for anybody who's really interested in diving deep in timing your life with astrology. Okay, so new moon in Pisces coming up February 20th. I feel like this is a really special new moon, but it's got some kind of maybe unexpected undertones, given that the new moon is in Pisces. And I'm going to take you through what I mean. So first up, the new moon is happening at 1 degree Pisces. It's happening on the 20th of February. And it is going to happen on the 20th of February in most major time zones, UK, Europe, Australia, East coast of Canada and the US. If you're west coast of Canada and the US, this new moon is sneaking in around 11 p.m. on the 19th of February. So, for many of us, it will be overnight. Some of us very early in the morning, some of us later in the day. But 20th of February is the date for your new moon in February, but the new moon in Pisces. So we know that a new moon is about a fresh start, a new beginning. It's kind of a wiping the slate clean energy. And this new moon is in soulful Pisces. So we are being invited into the dreamland. We're maybe less connected to practical or physical matters, and we're in the ethereal, intuitive, imaginal realms. This new moon at 1 degree Pisces is very near a special fixed star known as Fomalhaut. And this is one of the royal stars, so it has a lot of potency and potential. It can indicate some success or achievement, especially in mystical or spiritual realms. So when we see Fomalhaut in the natal chart really prominent, it can show someone that rises to prominence or a position of leadership or teacher in a spiritual or mystical field. And so that star is around 3-4 degrees of Pisces, and the new moon at 1 Pisces is very close to that. This is a very, it is considered an important royal star, but it is a little bit more dull in its presentation. It's associated with the season of winter. And so if you think about the sun in wintertime, it's there and it's noticeable, but it's not as sort of showy and flashy as the sun in the summertime might be. And this star is also in a otherwise pretty dark part of the sky. And so there's something about this new moon being connected to being a light in the darkness, or finding the light to guide you through a darker period or a more challenging period. So these are some of the subtle themes in this new moon in Pisces. Pisces, of course, is a water sign. So we are going to be diving into the realm of emotions and feelings. And remember that a new moon influences the 2 weeks following the date of the new moon itself. And so the 2 weeks from February 20th right through to March 7th, which is when we have the full moon in Virgo, are going to have these Piscean themes. Now, another important piece to look at when checking in with a chart of a new or a full moon is to look at the ruling planet of the lunation. And so in Pisces, the ruler is Jupiter. And so the ruler of this new moon in Pisces in February 2023 is Jupiter in the sign of Aries. So Jupiter in Aries adds a little bit more energy, a little bit more drive, a little bit more motivation. It adds a little bit of a spring theme. Or this new moon, it can indicate this new moon might be a time when you rediscover that spring in your step, where you start to feel maybe excited or hopeful or enthusiastic about life or possibilities again. Jupiter is in the sign of Aries, which is a very feisty sign. It does have that martial kind of competitive quality. And so even though the new moon itself is kind of in a little bit more of a gentle sign of Pisces, there is this kind of, whether it's competitive or really assertive and a little bit of that martial kind of military quality with the new moon being ruled by Jupiter in Aries. So that's something to keep in mind. There's lots of Jupiter signatures here. Jupiter is quite strong by triplicity in the sign of Aries. And of course, the new moon is in Jupiter. So that expansive feeling, that quality of abundance, which may come through spiritual and philosophical realms or through material and financial realms, that's all amplified under this particular new moon in Pisces. So there's a few themes to keep in mind as you're connecting to this new moon in Pisces and thinking about how you might want to work with it. The number one tip, though, that I always give people when working with a new or a full moon is to check your personal birth chart and see what house the sign of Pisces falls in. So you want to find, where does 1 degree Pisces fall in your personal chart? Is that in your 10th house? And does the new moon themes of beginnings become about career for you? Or is Pisces 7th house, where you perhaps have a Pisces descendant, and therefore this new moon in Pisces is about activating those fresh starts, new direction, new challenges in romantic relationships. So think about where Pisces is for you personally, and that'll be a great clue as to where and how in life you're being activated by this new moon in the sign of Pisces. Okay, a couple of other things to run through in the 2 weeks following this lunation. It's kind of an important lunation because in the days to follow, we're going to have a couple of planets changing signs, which I think are important. In early March, March 2nd, we're going to have Mercury leaving Aquarius and coming into Pisces. So joining the Pisces party, if you like. And that's going to create much more of a creative, soulful quality to conversations. And it might create a little bit of a hazy feeling, about details for the couple of weeks that Mercury is in Pisces. So the new moon is on the 20th of February, and it's influencing the period through to March 7th. And the other planet that's going to change signs will be Saturn moving into Pisces. That does happen on March 7. Really interesting. We've got the new moon in Pisces, and then in the 2 weeks following, we have 2 planets moving into Pisces. So this is why I think it's important to tune in to the Pisces part of your chart for this new moon, because not only is this new moon in Pisces bringing a fresh start about that area of life, Mercury coming into Pisces just a week or so later is going to make you really curious about this area of your life. And then, of course, the ingress of Saturn into Pisces, March 7, for the next 3 years, is going to begin a much more substantial restructuring process around the topics of the Pisces part of your chart. I'll be talking more about the Saturn in Pisces transit in future videos, but in terms of how this particular new moon in Pisces is really inviting us into a deeper relationship with the Pisces part of our chart, I think it's important to know that Mercury and Saturn are on their way into Pisces. So let me know how you're experiencing this new moon in Pisces. Let me know what part of your birth chart it's going to activate. Where in your life can you expect a fresh start or a new beginning, or perhaps the dawning of new wisdom and maturity, knowing that Saturn is coming into Pisces very, very soon. Thanks so much for watching, team. If you do enjoy my videos, be sure to subscribe, like the video. Let me know in the comments below any questions that you have. I can always keep them in mind for future videos. And if you'd like to join me for even more astrology, pop over to my website and join my monthly astrology membership. All right, team, I wish you all the best, and we'll talk again soon. Bye for now.